next guest is Tobias Engemeier, CEO of VIDA. Tobias, maybe first of all, for all the listeners who didn't had the chance to listen to your speech earlier, what does VIDA do?
Thank you, David. So VIDA is a data map-based data software, and we provide information to decision makers all over the world on where people are vulnerable to the effects of climate change and how can we make them less vulnerable.
So your typical clients are governments or businesses?
Yes, so we work with governments in several countries, Nigeria and Solomon Islands. We work with large international banks like the World Bank, the African Development Bank, Asian Development Bank. We also work with commercial banks, for example, here in Germany, that use it for their mortgage portfolio. And we work with companies that develop infrastructure or invest in infrastructure.
And how exactly can AI be used to either predict or measure the climate change?
So climate change is one of the most complex systems we are facing. And it happens at the level of nature and physics. So how is our climate changing weather patterns? And then the next question is how does that change affect people? What we grow, where we live, how we build. What we have done so far is we've built models that get better and better at predicting what nature does. What we are doing now and where we need to get to is understanding how this change in nature affects people and their built environment.
So how do you actually work to implement those changes? Do you have like a team of AI engineers at VIDA? Do you collaborate closely with universities or other startups?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yes, we have a team of engineers. These are climate engineers, AI engineers, data engineers, and they build the data sets and the software that we use. We have collaborated a lot with universities. We started out originally with support from Applied AI, actually, and then at the Technical University in Munich, so it's a very fitting environment here. And we continue to collaborate closely with universities because universities are usually at the cutting edge of the technologies that we build on.
So AI, the use of AI needs a lot of energy, right? So it is often discussed, does AI not actually harm the environment and boost the climate change even further? What do you answer to this question? And how do you try to mitigate the bad effects of using AI?
Yeah. In climate change, there are two big things that we're dealing with. One is how can we reduce climate change? How can we decarbonize our economies? And the second is how can we deal with climate change? How can we adapt to climate change? AI has an impact on both sides, right? We have much more energy under the current energy mix that contributes to climate change. And it's a huge factor. Right? It's really kind of, if you see how many data centers are being built, how much energy is used, AI is almost becoming an energy play in many countries. So it's a huge factor. Changing that requires, it's interesting because these data centers themselves need to be protected from climate change, right? So you need to understand what the risks around them are, and you try and use as much renewable energy as possible. But there is going to be a negative effect. We still use AI because we're kind of, in German you say Flucht nach vorne, we're kind of racing forward. Because we need AI to help us find better scenarios of how to deal with climate change, how to adapt to climate change.
Could AI also be used to predict like real big catastrophes, like a big flood, like hurricanes, stuff like that?
Yes. So we have to differentiate a little bit between weather and climate.
Okay.
Weather is a multi-day forecast. You look and try to understand what will happen, whether a specific event like a hurricane will unfold. Climate is looking a little further down the line. We're looking at years down the line, and we're looking at risks and probabilities. What's the probability at a certain location that a house will be hit by a hurricane in 10 years, for example?
And what's your prediction for today in 10 years? By 2035, will we have solved climate change by the use of AI? Will there be like a super quantum computer that has solved climate change and has found the perfect solution for us to stay at the same level for all the years to come?
So what I think is going to happen is, I think climate change, it's a physical reality. Climate change is happening today, and even if we would stop all emissions today, there would still be ongoing climate change for decades to come. We have to that's a reality we have to deal with. I don't think we'll get around that. What we can do is we can start predicting and rehearsing for the effects of climate change much better using AI and massive compute. For example, there are first order effects, second, third, fourth order effects of any climate event. Say there is a drought or the southern part of Europe becomes less inhabitable because of climate change, less water, for example. People will start to migrate. We can today say who are the people who are affected and what's going to happen there. That's the first order effect. The second order effects will be, where do these people then go? Where will they resettle? How will they sustain themselves at that new place? What infrastructure do they need there? What will be the political fallout of that? And rehearsing and simulating, understanding these scenarios, second, third order effects, that's going to be where AI will come in a lot.
Going to be a very interesting future. Tobias, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you.